Good evening, everybody. Today we have a very new or not so often heard subject and discussed topic. The topic is called Design Economics 2.0. So, what is design economics? What has design got to do with economics or economics got to do with design? This is what Mr. Xavier Benedict, an architect by education and profession and a wetlands enthusiast, is going to take us through a journey of what it means. Mr. Xavier completed his architecture from the School of Architecture and Planning, Anna University, Chennai, and did his MBA from the Lancaster University, UK. And he has handled very many large projects in the country, including the Kudankulam Township Master Planning, SRM University Campus, SRM School, Dalmia Cement Township at Kadapa and Ariyalur, and many other central government projects. He's a very passionate enthusiast, environmentalist, and actively involved in the promotion and conservation of Pulicat Lagoon. He also runs an NGO called the Arde Foundation, empowering women. Is also maintaining a museum for creating awareness on Pulicat Lagoon at Padaverkadu in Tamil Nadu. He is a member of the ICO MOS India, Photographic Society, IUNC South Asia, and a life member of BNHS YMCA. Welcome, Mr. Xavier. Over to you now. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. I am going to talk about a topic which is very close to my heart and passionate about, because as a designer, I need to talk and promote design. So that's the reason thanks for the opportunity. Thanks to Rajaram sir for giving all this opportunity. And hope I'm audible and my slides are visible to all. Okay, today on the first slide, I have two things. One is a common utility object, and another is a picture of the Madras High Court. The reason for choosing this is it has got to do with our economics. And unfortunately, we have moved away from that economics. We are in a global economy, or I would say market economy. So these both have a lot of connections. So let me start with a slide. It's not going. So why I have given 2.2? 2.0, everybody will be knowing about the cinema 2.0, but it's why I gave the 2.0 is once upon a time, about four centuries back, Coromandel Coast was 15% of the world GDP. I'm not exaggerating. It's a calculated percentage. Coromandel Coast is nothing but Kakinada to Nagapattinam and the extension. And suddenly it fell down. Suddenly it all collapsed, and the reason we need to find out. So that is the journey we were taking in the Pulicat Lagoon. So my talk will be in such a way that I will talk more of my learnings and learnings which are published papers also on about it. So I have authenticated my research. And this is the second talk in my series about design economics. In the first talk, I gave it in a different environment, in a different scenario. So this is about a next level of people always expect new ideas, new information. So this is the next level of my information. But basically, I'll touch the previous talk slide also. So if you have any questions, please ask me in the end. So this is a very common word. I'm just explaining what is design. We all use the word design in our day-to-day life. Design is a creativity. We mix all the colors, our ideas and everything to form many things. The best example I can say, everybody's life is wedding card design, or even wedding reception, stage design, house design, your apartment design, interior design, urban design. So design is it has become a very common word. So it influences everybody, from your child to an adult. It influences the city and everybody. So design is an expression and it influences you and me and even the economics. So how far we have got influenced. So this talk will be. And what is an economics? Economics is a same as the scenario where we talk about GDP, we talk about the growth of our country, growth of our employee, our staff in the college or in the university or in the IT campus or even in a factory. So everybody talks about economics. Even each and a child, this picture I'm just showing you, the child has got one dream of buying something, the dog has got a dream, and everybody has got some kind of influence on the family and they have an influence on the economy. So everything is the thinking process to get influence. It's a social science. It's a study where people interact with things of value. In particular, it's about production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. So the two words, one is design and another is economics. When both of them meet, we need to understand how things works. As I got introduced, thank you. I run a firm called Anamika, and I have a campaign called Save Pulicat to Save Chennai. That is my campaign for a couple of more than a decade. I'm working on this and actively doing it in Pulicat, which is the Tamil. In Tamil, it is called as Paraverkadu. Yes, this is my picture, which I'm very close to my heart. Actually, it is not my picture. I took it from Wiki Comments, but I do have a similar picture. Why I put this picture? Everybody would be wondering why I put this picture. This is a typical thing which will show you that you are a Coromandel Coast person or you are an Indian, and it is like a architecture which influences each and every one of us. Here you got Madras Terrace, influence of lime plaster, and you have arches balanced with our own Coromandel stone, granite. Then the proportion in as per the anthropometry as well as the climatic condition, and the veranda, courtyard, everything is influenced, and there is an economics behind it. Everything is locally sourced. Everything is locally sourced. Your art, architecture, design, culture, everything is local. So the economics is getting influenced. It's a carpenter work, a sculptor's work, everything is influenced by the material, the architecture, the design style is locally procured and locally constructed and locally available people. So this is the year about exactly 100 years back or 140 years back. I just want to move the slide. So if you take today's scenario, as you all know, today's scenario is like this. Somewhere somebody had a COVID and you have a cascading effect. Sorry, slide, somebody's changing the slide. Okay, this is the current scenario. Somewhere from outside hit us and all the verticals. The verticals is a very common word nowadays in the corporate world. All the verticals started collapsing. And it's a ringing bell where we have to think, are we going in the right direction? Somewhere it is done and we all over the world is getting collapsed. Is it a right economy or right scenario? We have to think where it all changed. And actually a vernacular economy, which I showed in the previous slide with one example of this architecture, where everything is locally sourced. Every vertical is interconnected. If this collapses, we can escape to another one. If this collapses, still it can stand with the support of the other one. And it takes long time to collapse. But this is the current scenario. Within a few days to few months, the entire global economy, Indian economy, everything was started collapsing. The GDP is falling, but unfortunately stock market is increasing. I don't know why, how, that we have to find out. The reason, there are many reasons. One reason is, in our previous slide I show you, everything was local, everything was locally sourced. So the major changes was our life was influenced with nature. Our scenario was completely centered with nature. On that, it was culture was influenced. By that, the lifestyle, economy, governance was influenced. The best example is your coffee with the sugar. Which sugar are you using today? Now, Karpati coffee. I used to drink Karpati coffee, which is from Palmyra tree. But today we have industrial sugar. So we moved to a scenario where we kept that away. Capitalism came in the center, where everything is influenced by the capitalism, your culture. What you eat here today, more of a pizza and burger influenced by somebody's, even your architecture is influenced by something else. The style, governance, economic, everything is influenced by somebody else. And we just moved away and we started calling it with this is just for show you, we kept the nature away and we started calling it as a environmental impact assessment. Just to satisfy ourselves, we are good in protecting our environment. Actually, the economy should have been the nature. I have told you this in the previous slide also. This was the actual 1920s. Every verticals doesn't collapse easily, but today's scenario, every vertical collapse, horizontally or vertically, and it will give you alarming bell whether we are going in right direction or not. So this slide, which I showed you previously, gives you the apt image of our country right now, our society or our city. We moved away so far away from this locally available material, locally talented craftsmen, locally, everything is locally. This is lots of different between the localization. Today we are talking about localization, everything. Still we are buying a local, not locally, somebody else mobile phone or somebody else food, packed food, it's sourced from somewhere else. Here everything is within the 100 kilometers. I'll show you a slide which will explain you everything. And this is just to give you about an idea. About a decade back, in India, we started in India, central government started a institution called council called Indian Design Council, and with the national design policy. This is still, but last 10 years, it is still in a very nascent stage without getting a proper policy enhancement. So we look forward to it. I'll talk about this in the last slide. So next. This is what the slide I'm talking about. This is about my profession. This is about my background. I'll just give you a scenario how our thinking process changed, our economy is influenced. One example only. There are plenty of examples can be taken, but for the talk, for a short talk of 45 minutes to 1 hour, I can talk about this. This is something called National Building Code. Based on this code only, everything is moving. Your design, your CMD approval, DTCB approval, your bank financial approvals and everything. So there is a word called Pakka, Semi-Pakka and Kacha. As you all know, Pakka means perfect, semi-perfect, and Kacha means, you don't know, Kacha means waste or ordinary. But you know this, as per the government policy, Pakka means 35 years lifespan. You have to demolish the building or you have to renovate the building with another 35 years of expansion. Like expanding giving a life clearance for the building to stand without demolishing for another 35 years. If it is 100 years back, we call it as heritage. And then semi-Pakka is 100 years plus. Buildings like Madras High Court or Chennai Corporation or anything. And the Kacha is something which is disaster friendly, but it's lifeless, or it is not lifeless, short life I can say, but it's very safe. Bank loan, this is the biggest influence in our thinking. Yes, we get provided a blank loan for a Pakka building, but which is Pakka? I would say this is Pakka. No and no. And this has got a lot of influence our life today. Are you able to build a building like this or building like this with a proper ICICI or HDFC or State Bank of India loan, home loan? Not at all. Can only go by a concrete roof with a glass procured from somewhere else, material source, a cement purchased from somewhere else, tiles purchased from somewhere else, or manufactured somewhere else. But this is 200 kilometers plus or minus. This is nothing but local. Skills, industrial, many people are wiped out of that, or artisans. This is artisans and craftsmen and the self-made do-it-yourself. And ecologically influenced, yes. This got very less or no, I would say, environmentally friendly, recyclable, and this, yes, is recyclably reused and safe. I'm just touching this entire talk. I'm finishing with, I would say, this one slide can explain our thinking process, our financial process, our financial approvals, financial help, and everything, all based on one policy which was taken about a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades back. Wording, pakka, semi-pakka, and kacha. Influenced everything from our thinking process to our design process, our style, our lifestyle, our city, our society, and everything. This is what design economics is all about. How one word, the way you speak, or one word you use in the policy influences your thinking. In our previous slide, I showed a child is thinking about a toy, a dog is thinking about bone. Influences our thinking, everything. Pakka, kacha, and semi-pakka. You can't get a loan for this, even if you are interested in building or renovating a house. The bank will say, I need to renovate, your roof should be in concrete. Because of the idea that this is not pakka. But unfortunately, this is 100 years old. That is the design economics is all about. If you think and if your lifestyle is influenced by your vernacular thinking, we will not have a collapsible economy today. So the lota on the top is also gives you an idea about it, which I'll talk later. So all these ideas, everything is I learned from my Pulicat Lagoon. I just talk about why I'm passionate about this Pulicat Lagoon and how the design idea came into my mind. In my first slide, I asked a question. The GDP, this Coromandel coast was 15% GDP. People who came late, if you want to know, you can just take the slide back. I'll tell you. Coromandel coast of India was once holding a 15% GDP. And it fell from that. And to make your understanding, this coast was the Chennai capital and everything, and this is the coast where the British, Portuguese, Dutch all landed. It was not through you can talk about a lot of history books talking about land route economy, but I am talking about a route which was the reason for the world globalization, the reason for colonialization. So this, I just touch upon how I got influenced and how my thinking got influenced by this. As of all you know, Pulicat Lagoon or Kadal Kali is located on the north of Chennai, which is about 40 to 60 kilometer, whichever route you take, it will have a maximum of 60 kilometer distance to touch this Pulicat village. The entire water body is called as, now they're using the word lake, but the actual word should be lagoon, scientifically. Lagoon means water body parallel to sea coast, and this is Sriharikota where the rocket is getting launched. And this is connected by a road, and the road connects the Sriharikota with Sulurpeta. And for your comparison, this is 759 square kilometer. Delhi is 1,484 square kilometer. Chennai is 450 square kilometer. It's double the size of Chennai, second largest water body. Why this word Pulicat is an anglicized word derived from Palaver Kadu. It means Palamayana Vergal Konda Kadu. It's nothing but mangrove forest. In Telugu, it is called Pralaya Kaveri because the Palar was flowing to this spot only in about 1,000 years back. So they were called as Pralaya Periya Kaveri. So this word also toponymy, which will explain about the mangroves in one word. Any child will be able to understand what was the geology and geography. Your mind is getting influenced by the word. And I would say like your economics also get influenced by the word. As here this word Palaya Ver Kadu, old root forest. Only in mangroves you will see a old root coming out of water. When you cut it off, chop it for firewood, this will look like a old root. And today we are sitting in northeast monsoon season, and as of today, we didn't get any cyclone or major tsunami, sorry, not tsunami, major cyclone or Suravali Katru. For example, every eye of the cyclone during the season falls on a wetland. This is not my data, it is about 40 years of data of IIT Kharagpur. They gave it to me. This data shows clearly with the maximum number of cyclone moving towards where the moisture is located. This is Sundarbans in West Bengal. Usually it comes during the June and July. This is Odisha, where the Chilika Lagoon is located. Pulicat is the second largest. Chilika is the first largest wetland in the country and the second largest in the world, which is triple the size of Pulicat. So it crosses Chilika. Andhra Pradesh, Krishna Godavari Basin near Vijayawada. Here it crosses everywhere, and majorly it is Pulicat Lagoon. Unfortunately, today, this year, we didn't have much cyclone crossing Chennai due to various reasons. One reason which I can give a talk about it, it's the influence of heat island created by rocket launch, which we can't cover it today. But this graph will show you how far the water body influences the cyclone or the rainfall. Another slide explaining the uniqueness of our Coromandel coast. The vegetation. India has got so many different types of vegetation. Only the Coromandel coast in India and only 2 spots in the world to have a tropical dry evergreen region. Tropical dry evergreen region in the country and only 2 spots in the world. And Tamil Nadu has got the largest, Andhra few, and this is Pulicat and Krishna Godavari basins is here. This is the Pulicat region. Tamil Nadu has got the tropical dry evergreen. That means tree leaf doesn't fall. If you see any tree leaves falling, I would not consider that as a local or endemic species. Our trees should be like the a leaf like trees, what do you call the Neithal tree, all the Neithal tree which are right now is vanishing. Punnai Maram, not Pungai, Punnai Maram. It's a beautiful tropical dry evergreen tree. Right now it has become a rare. If you go by ECR road, you can find few. Punnai, Pun means the golden Neithal tree, which is the best example of a dry evergreen. This explains everything. This explains our history, geography, and everything. This is a slide I got it from BNHS, which I am a life member in that. You can see a difference. If you cut the country into 2, this side doesn't have any major or any kind of wetlands. These are the wetlands declared as the nationally important zone, wetland. It's called the wetland zone. Pulicat, Kaliveli, or this is Kaliveli zone, 3rd largest in the country. And if I shown the previous slide, this is got to do with this. Geographically, this zone is very blessed, very much blessed. All the bird immigration zone is here. The pelicans come here, sorry, not pelicans, flamingo. They travel from here to here, then they come down, they finish off at the Dhanascodi and they return back. They don't have major lagoons here. You have lagoons, and one more thing you have to note, all the deltas are here. So here I am using the word called delta, which has got influenced our economy so much. So this you can easily understand how the geography, geology, economics, design, everything has got a holistic thing, a relationship, interdependent. And the word Coromandel, I argue with everybody, or if you somewhere, people say it's a Chola Mandalam. It is not Chola Mandalam, it's a Coromandel, Kari Manal Made. all along this coast, you will see a lot of villages got a name called Karimanal. Karupana Manal Made, black soil high ground, which has got derived into a Coromandel coast. One of our findings in our historical books, we found out one agent calling this, standing on a ship, calling this land as a black soil high ground, like Karimanal Medu. That's how it's all started. In one book, they spoke about Karimanal Meadow. So the bishop, what's his name, Caldwell. In that book also they mentioned Karimanal.
ये सब बातें हम गूगल भी तो कर सकते हैं.
No? Somebody has got a question?
Question नहीं है.
No. Somebody asked something. That's why. Sorry. No issues. I'll continue. Hello? Somebody's... Hello? Okay. This is the next slide. From the lagoon slides, I'm just taking it to another slide, which is called the trade winds, which is nothing but your northeast monsoon winds. This is a picture of 2015 Chennai flood. Somebody is scribbling up top. Hello?
Latest picture. Any latest picture?
Hello?
I'll clear them. Wait.
Sure. This is a slide which I want to show you how far the wind movement.
Last का season 1 खत्म कर लिया भाई, मजा आ गया, मतलब बिल्कुल स्वाद आ गया.
Hello?
पूरा देखूंगा कल.
Okay, this is wind movement.
10 episode download कर लिया. अब फिर पूरा एकदम एक दिन में खत्म. Start and finish.
Okay, if you can mute your mic, I can easily speak. And this is the wind, trade wind, I call it as. The trade wind because southwest monsoon is called, I call it as a import wind, and northeast monsoon I call it as a trade winds. If you are, I come from a shipbuilding family background. We were, once upon a time, used to build ships. So my grandfather or father used to tell, during the northeast monsoon, ship moves away from the coast. During the southwest monsoon, the ship moves towards the coast. Hello, somebody's scribbling.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out who it is.
No issues. Just
Yeah, I've removed 2 people who are doing it.
No issues. Let them. Okay. This shows the clearly trade winds, which has got to influence our globalization, colonization, and the reason which I will show you in the next slide. Unlike the Western Ghats, unlike the Western Ghats, southeast coast of India has only wetlands and coastal lagoons to invite the rain clouds during winter monsoon. Southwest monsoon is 27 states in India dependent. Northeast monsoon only Tamil Nadu and part of Andhra Pradesh. Hello?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
गया. Finish.
Southeast monsoon is 27 states. Southeast monsoon, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. The best example, on the southeast coast, we have all the Western Ghats and all the rain clouds can hit it and rain will fall. Here we don't have anything. So the moisture of the lagoon only can attract the rain clouds, which is very important. And this is the main reason has got influenced our economy and which has influenced our colonization. That is called as cotton route. As you all know, Vasco da Gama and landed in, as per historical records, saying that in Calicut. But as at Pulicat, the group of which came in second journey by Vasco da Gama, the group, not Vasco da Gama himself, but the group came to Pulicat in 1502. I'm talking about north of Chennai. I have a slide, not a slide, a map showing Pulicat in the 1475 AD map as the only port on the southeast coast of India. You all have to wonder why people came to Chennai, Madras. As you know, British couldn't win over the Dutch, so they settled in Madras near Mylapore. Before that, Portuguese were there. And we all have to wonder why they came to India. Was it necessary? Everybody was searching for a land beyond Indus, which is called they called themselves as India because according to the Europeans in those centuries, India means anything land beyond Indus. It varies from India to Japan. Only in the later 1st century, we started having a name called India for ourselves. So the main reason for them to come to India was the sale. It's nothing but the cotton which grows in delta. As I said in the previous slide, all the major deltas are located only on the southeast coast of India. The best of best cottons grows in southeast coast of India. Unfortunately, today we don't have any such cottons anymore. It is all wiped out or vanished, or we don't know where it all went. Everybody came for that. This sale, to my knowledge, I was searching for it and I went and found out one community in near Thoothukudi. They were making this still about 10 years back. The large sails in the European medieval ships, this sail were made by linen, which can't withstand the wind more than 1 month or 2 months. But this sail can withstand for about 8 months. Boss, somebody, please guys, if you're not interested.
I'm just trying to figure out who it is.
That's what. I'm just talking to that person who's doing it. His children might be watching this, that's why. Okay, this sail can withstand for 6 months. And before this sail, the Europeans were using this kind of sail and they catch the coast. They catch the coast and come to India. They catch all the African coast and they come to India, which is very difficult for the Britishers or the Europeans to come to India and takes more than a year or two. The only people who had the knowledge were Tamilians or as Coromandel people and the people who were Arabians from the Middle East. They were not sharing this knowledge with Europeans. So somehow Vasco da Gama, by historical records I can say, he bribed some person in Zanzibar and got the route to the Chennai or a Coromandel coast. So this had a major influence on our economy. The one sail, adding a 3-sail journey with a large towering sail, and even the pole is from Ashoka tree, the false Ashoka tree, has had a major influence on our economy. Had a major influence on our economy. Britishers came, Dutch came, Portuguese came, French came, they fought against each other, and for the next 300 years, they conquered the world. The major change was the cotton. So unfortunately, nowhere we are using the word called cotton root. We are using the word called silk root, spice root. And the word spice root is misguiding. The reason is India doesn't grow any spice other than pepper. Everything other than pepper is imported in those days. So how come you can call it as a spice? So the diamonds and spices were exchanged for cotton, and that changed our scenario in the world. For which I'll give you one slide as an example. This is the best example of that. Pulicat in 1665. You just observe how magnificent, somebody please, the person who wrote on the slide, please delete it so that everybody can watch it. This is my learning, and I have got the originals of this. 1665 Pulicat, Fort Gilria, the first trading fort in India. And this is the Pulicat Lagoon. And the big city, bigger than Delhi. At the time, Fatehpur Sikri was in nascent stage. It was in a big, Taj Mahal was constructed at the time, when Pulicat was in a large scale, developed city with a fort, with a nice fort wall done by the Portuguese. This is the Dutch. The Britishers couldn't conquer this place, so they settled in Madras Pattinam, Chennai Pattinam. And till today, if you go to Malaysia, if you buy a lungi, the logo will have a word called Pulicat. When I went in about a year back, and the owner of the shop didn't know there was a word place called Pulicat. But today, till today, they carry the word called Pulicat. It is called Palayakat Lungi. Palayakat. Kallum Mullum Kalukku Mettai. Swami Paliyakat. Paliyakat. Talayila Ketra Thuni Paliyakat. And then if you go to Mecca, till today they call it as a Palayakat Lungi. I mean, nobody knows where is Palayakat. Palaverkad, and the Anglicized version is Pulicat. So that much influence this coast has got it. Masli-Patnam, from muslin, then we have Nagapatnam cotton, Coromandel cotton, Chola cotton, everything. The other cotton, two other cottons from different coasts are Dutch Dhaka cotton or Kutch cotton. But the superior quality was from this coast. Yes. I just want to show you a couple of slides to make you understand how far this large, developed, economically sound 15% of the world GDP fell. Our thinking process changed, influenced by many things. Today we are using the word, all the words in English. We started moving away from the local words. One example is the local deity. This is the deity for tropical dry evergreen region. As I showed you the slide before, tropical dry evergreen region. He is a protector of the vegetation. Unfortunately, the popularism of the god has vanished due to our new gods and new urbanization and everything took it. Ayana. He is the nature culture linkage of our society. And the entire Coromandel coast hosts the vegetation called tropical dry evergreen region. Unfortunately, as the popularism of this deity went off, we also lost 96% of the vegetation. Paruva Malai, this coast has to get a Paruva Malai, the seasonal rainfall, which is completely vanished from our map, from the season, due to the absence of the particular vegetation. Now we have only cyclones and we are dependent on the cyclones for the water. So it's all interconnected. Our deity is interconnected, our language is interconnected, our vegetation is interconnected, our growth of cotton on the Coromandel coast of Delta is interconnected, and everything got flipped now. It is like a splintering fragmentism, where everything has went in a different direction and we lost. Now we call as a globalization, we call it IT revolution or a stock market revolution, but it's not. We have lost everything. We are all dependent on somebody else for our economy. And as you know, the kings and queens of Europe used to feel proud to wear this particular cotton. They call it a superior quality. The Coromandel cotton was considered as a noble piece. Now, not anymore. After 17th, 18th century, it's all vanished due to the very nice planning by the Europeans. They did a wonderful planning to keep us away from the local or vernacular thinking. That's what we do in our journey at Pulicat. We publish and we talk. This is my small museum in Pulicat, conduct walk at Pulicat, and we tell people about, sorry, somebody is moving the slides. We talk about the vernacular concepts every year. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it during this COVID season. This is me and other people. And we get empowered or we get funded by the sale of this palm leaf craft, which is economically sustaining our museum and also sustaining the trees, Palmyra sugar, which you used to put it in the Karpati copy or vanish. Now we are able to save the tree by having economic value. If there is no value for a tree, the tree will vanish. We have to understand. So we have to economically sustain a tree to live long. So I'm coming very close to close my talk. So what is the learning which I went through in the last 1 decade? I found out within 100 square kilometer or within 100 kilometer of a radius, our life was interconnected. One of the examples, more popular sari, kalamkari, it's a nature culture linkage. Even the ink used in the kalamkari weaving, sketching, is made from the Palmyra tree, the locally sourced tree dyes. Best example, Sri Kalakasti temple, the city of Kalakasti is famous for kalamkari. Kalamkari has got two types. One is the pen type, another one is your seal, put a seal, which is also on the Coromandel coast along the Pulicat. If you go up north to Machilipatnam, there is a Penna village where we can see the dye made with a seal. Kalamkari pen, we can see it on Sri Kalakasti. In about a century back, it was flourishing textile industry of the sea coast, of this Coromandel coast. And we all popularly say pollution. Pollution is just a scapegoat. The lack of understanding of our ecology of 100 square kilometer from our house is the main reason for climate change. Our lifestyle, our design principles, our building style, our architecture, everything is globalized. Our design process is globalized. Our thinking process is influenced by others. Even the lecture today, I'm speaking in English. I have to translate everything in my mind from Tamil to English. That process has killed our economy, that design process. We don't study anything about ecology of 100 square kilometer in our school books. We talk about Labrador, or we talk about all the famous dogs and everything in the 6th standard books. But we don't talk about local dogs. We don't talk about local economy. We don't talk about local ecology in our books. Modern education is universal. We need a vernacular education. We need a thinking which should be vernacular. So to stop climate change, we need to understand the vernacular. We need to design by vernacular. In my first third slide, which I showed you, which was about, this is the one. This is the one. The one policy called National Design Building Code, one government of India, which about 3 decades back came in, changed the entire scenario. And we lost the material. We don't have the best mud. We don't have the best reeds and thatch. We don't have the best clay and tiles. We don't have the best plastering of lime and the sunambu. The lime, this lime is from the seashells. There are two types of lime we can get, one from seashells and another from wetlands shells. Both are best for plastering. Mughals used to take lime plasters from the Coromandel coast to build big palaces, and I don't even mind telling that Taj Mahal would have been built by the lime taken from the Coromandel coast. So that's how that ecology matters a lot in this economy. Unfortunately, we have a different method of thinking. Everything's industrialized, short span of time, and bank loan is given only for this building. So this is what I mean at design principles, design economy. So in my talk, vernacular thinking is important. Vernacular thinking is important in economics, design, schools, and everything. So let us all design by vernacular for this reason. Take few seconds to observe this picture. You all know about this temple. This was famous temple built by Krishnadevaraya. And I'm not, do not mistake me for saying that, because he built after the victory over Gajapati kingdom, defeating and influencing his belief on the Orissa kingdom. So he built it in 1516. Unfortunately, it fell down in May 2010. We all know about that, and it all fell. And it was rebuilt in 2017 with the support of a very popular institution in India. But I am against the way they constructed it. The reason is, when I was there after the collapse, a very local guy was sitting there in this side, and I was having chaya with him and drinking and talking to him. He was sadly saying that this temple collapsed basically because the temple doesn't have any connection with the water body anymore. As you all know that, as I told you before, our Coromandel coast is Karimanal made, black cotton soil. Black cotton soil has got a principles of expanding and contracting during 6 months. Every season it expands and contracts. When there is water, it expands. When there's no water, it contracts. This temple had a crack in the foundation due to that expansion contraction. Due to the absence of water and due to the distance from the water to the temple as expanded during the last century, this foundation had a crack. Now this temple was rebuilt with pile foundation. Nothing got to do with the relationships around. Sorry, somebody's stealing a slide. Nothing got to do with the surroundings. This temple was standing there for 4 centuries purely with the support of the ecology around it. The design made, the economics made, the tall towers were made, the materials were sourced, everything from locally. When the water was absent and when the groundwater level went down, the foundation started cracking. Do you know what? All over India, all the major gopurams, the foundation is not more than 5 feet traditionally. Now the foundation is for 30, 40 or 100 feet pile foundation. We are going against the principles of vernacularism. A tall structure fell down in 2010 just because the water level was different and it was dry and the soil's condition around it was very dry and it collapsed. This is the best example of design economics. Without knowing the understanding of ancient structures, without knowing the understanding or recording of the ancient principles of construction, without knowing understanding of the ecology around it, the material source, we started building the tall structure. And without having any relationship with the surrounding ecology, we built in with the climate change. Now we are talking about a scenario like COVID, we are talking about other things like no rainfall, adequate rainfall, or erratic rainfall. All because our misunderstanding, our education doesn't have anything to do with the local. I mean 100 square kilometers around us. The best example is this temple. Now, unfortunately, it's reconstructed, standing stable and steady with the concrete. But how far? It definitely will not stand for 4 centuries. It will stand only for 100 years. This is even called as Paka building, but definitely it is not a semi-Paka which was building for 400 years. This is what all I mean by design economics. As an architect, I need to touch about the buildings. So I spoke about that. Every subject can talk about design economics. By localization, we need to talk about what is vernacular. Are we using the right words? So let me touch the same thing with the first slide which I showed, the Madras High Court. Madras High Court was, don't mistake me for going back and coming to the old slides. Madras High Court was built and designed by Britishers. And this was one of the last buildings to use local craftsmen. You know why? By the time all the education system was made into English. So all the architectural drawings were started getting prepared with English. No more Tamil or vernacular. So craftsmen couldn't understand. They were kept away. So Madras High Court, a magnificent, even Queen Victoria was envy of this building. Unfortunately, this all wiped out because of one stroke of a policy, removing the vernacular from the education or drawings to English. The craftsman couldn't understand what the drawing was speaking, and slowly the craft died. The material source procurement also vanished, and the building material, everything vanished. Slowly we lost. And we started praising modern architecture without having any relationship. Now we are talking about climate change due to our lifestyle. So economy collapses. Global economy, if something collapses somewhere and it triggers, and everybody collapses. But in a vernacular economy, we don't collapse easily. It takes a long time to collapse. But here, within a month or few, it collapses. This is what I want to talk. And I will close my talk in a short. So hope you understand. And this is the slide which I want to show you about architecture. This is another slide which has got to do with the lifestyle also. This is nothing got to do with the design economics, but something which is a common in our society. Wherever you go in Palamudi Cholai fruit shops, The top, everything will be fruits like apple, plum, green apple, orange, and nothing got to do with our local fruits. No, it doesn't grow. 3,000 kilometers, apple doesn't grow. This grows in Middle East, New Zealand, Australia, Washington, Afghanistan. Then how do you think our farmers will survive? The local farmers. Air-conditioned environment for the fruits. And 24 hours, 7 days a week, we get this fruit. How come? It grows only during the winter, but we get 24 hours, 7 days a week. Due to the cancer increase, everything has got to do in our mind. And our mind is completely wiped out with this: eat apple a day, keep doctor away. Why not we say eat Nellika a day, keep a doctor away? Today we would have had Nellika on the showroom, not in the pavement. So the nature culture linkage, which I am talking about as a design economics, is very important to improve our economy. A simple design called Lota. It's utensils. Nowhere we can find Lota anymore in our house. Sambu ipo paakradhe kadayadu. The thing is, it's a beautiful design. The reason is the design holds a lot of water and doesn't spill easily, and it balances easily, and it retains the heat also. Hot rises, cold settles, and it retains the heat. What a beautiful design. Material is local, manufactured local, everything is local. Even our utensils right now at home are all modern. Can we easily change? Not possible, but we can make one small step. Each step will make a big reaction. So let us all look for a nature culture linkage for one of the best economy which can be revived. Once upon a time in 60th century, we were the 15% of the world GDP. Now we are zero. Even the cotton which were growing those days are not found anymore. Only one cotton the people have revived today, not anymore. So economics isn't about money, it's about making people's lives better. Design is about creating nice looking product. It is also about making people's lives better. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. I just want to make a 45 minutes talk only so that your concentration will be there. Thanks a lot. And if you have any questions, you can ask. This is my 14 years of journey in Pulicat, which I presented as design economics.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Xavier. We'll
Thank
just
you,
wait
sir.
for a couple of people to throw in their questions, then
Yes, sir.
we'll wrap it up. One Ashrita has written in support to what is saying, although it might be a big claim, I would say today's thinking is very Eurocentric in nature, which need not necessarily be suitable for all vernacular contexts.
Yes. She's rightly said, every economy, each and every climatic zone is unique. We talk about climate change in the global way. This is the best example of that. Within the coast, we have two different scenarios. Within this coast, we have two different monsoon. And this monsoon only brought in the world economy to us. Globalization and colonization started from this coast, mainly for the cotton. All the deltas are located here. So how far our ecology and our economics are interconnected. But in the global scenario today, we don't talk about that ecology. We talk about only market economy. So what she says is right. We need to revive our local thinking, local material, local source, and locally produced products, not with a Western technology. But it's small step, starting with our food habit too. Or for even example, if you're building a house, if you buy a one door from a local carpenter using a local tree, that will make a big change. A locally made door itself will make a big change, not Fenesta window, UPS windows, which is promoted as an environment friendly, not at all. It's a completely humbug. So we call it as green building. It's a humbug story. So we need to talk about what is suitable for our climate. So this is the best example. Our policy and design codes has to be changed, encouraging the financial institution to give loans. So automatically we'll start seeing a beautiful, locally centric, design centric buildings. By that, artisans will live, craftsmen will live, and all the ecology will be alive. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Xavier.
Thank you, sir.
You had actually, opened a new vista in terms of looking at the construction, the ecosystem. More so, it's about how we have to care about the environment and adapt ourselves to bring down the cost of constructions and things like that. Thank you so much. And we
Thank you,
in
sir.
Ancient Rights, a group of enthusiasts, a very flat organization. We are very fortunate to have you on board today. We are looking
Thank you,
for more such talks from you on your area of interest, which will definitely trigger an interest in the audience.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you
a lot.
so